All right, welcome everyone to the Green Door podcast. I am your host Nacho Vegas. I'm with Electra Rayne.
Hello.
And we're going to be talking about some cool stuff, and I hope you guys enjoy. And if you guys like what you see so far, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. And but yeah, let's get started. So how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. And so, this was the sex club when we contacted each other, right?
Yeah.
So I gave you a tour. What do you think of it?
It's really nice. I've been to a few clubs in a few different places, and there's a lot more going on here, like a lot more different spaces than I've seen most places. So that was pretty cool to see.
Yeah. Like, what states did you visit those other clubs?
So Chicago doesn't have sex clubs. They only have dungeons, like really specifically like for kink only. So that's kind of a bummer. And then my favorite one that I've been to is in New Orleans. And my least favorite one that I've been to was in Nashville. One in Nashville is really crappy.
Like crappy, like?
It's just like, it's really expensive for one, like ridiculously expensive to go there. And then it just like, I don't know, I didn't feel like they had the same hygiene standards or attention to detail as other clubs did, and it was really convoluted with like a lot of rules, but it didn't seem like it was really for anyone's safety. It was just kind of confusing. So it was like not great, and I don't know, the vibe was just weird. Was weird.
Yeah, I hear you. I know that a lot of clubs that I've been to at least a dozen of them, and a lot of them compared to this one have like either some kind of crazy membership price, or if you're not a member, like you have to, like, even for a male, you have to go through a trial. Like, they have to screen you.
Yeah.
And they do, like, not full background check, but they check your social media.
Yeah.
They see what kind of person you are.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that a lot of them are small, so, like, it's very cliquish.
Yeah.
And what's cool about us is that you don't need to be a member to come in. I mean, we do have memberships, but we don't, like, really promote that too much. But we're so close to the Strip.
Right, I'm sure you get a lot of out-of-towners.
A lot of out-of-towners, a lot of like people from all over the world, and like just first-timers, really. And so we don't have any like crazy like lingerie night or anything like that, like, or you have to get naked or stuff. Like, no, you just come in. We have plenty of chairs.
Yeah. And
you could just sit and watch and be, as long as you're comfortable.
Yeah.
And that's what we promote, like the safety and all that stuff.
Yeah, it seems really nice.
Yeah, and that's what keeps people coming back.
Yeah.
And so I'm pretty proud of this place. I mean, I've been coming here for over 10 years before I started. Yeah, since like 2008. Mm-hmm. And then I got into the adult industry in 2000, right before the pandemic.
Yeah.
And so I haven't like really done much here, but I like to see how it grows, and a lot more younger faces rather than like the older crowds,
right?
Like, which not knocking them because they kind of paved the way.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see new people come in all the time.
Yeah, that's cool. I didn't know. I've never been to a club. I've always been the youngest person at the club, like by far. Anytime I've ever gone there. In fact, the first time I went to a sex club was the one in New Orleans. I was there with my girlfriend, and we were certainly the only people there under 30. There was one other straight couple we were the only non-straight couple. And there was one couple there and they're probably like mid-30s, and then everyone else was like over 50. Like 50 and up. Which like is fine. I don't mind. I like a wide range of ages, but it would be cool to be someplace where like, okay, yeah, there also are people in their 20s and 30s and whatever. Right. So that's cool to hear that you get a younger crowd too.
Yeah, and this whole side of this plaza here, like if you go on one side, it's all male sex club.
Oh, like, neat.
Yeah, and then we have us. Like we're kind of more bi-curious, and then straight, and a lot of couples, and then you got the nice restaurant, and then you have the gay bar there. So it's like everyone knows who we are.
That's cool.
So when you have that wristband, like you go to any spot,
and
they're like, oh yeah, you guys went to the Green Door.
That's so cool. We have always been the only queer couple, as far as we could tell, any place we've ever been.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to see if that changes.
Right. Exactly. So You're in the adult industry now.
I am.
Yeah, and how long you been in?
So I started in 2015. I took a break, for talking about porn, I took a break from 2017 until last year, and then I came back about a year ago in full force. But I've been dancing since 2016, like pretty consistently. I mean, not like through a lot of COVID, but otherwise pretty consistently.
Right. What did you do during COVID?
Cried. No, just kidding. Oh my god, the timing was so bad. So I was off dancing for a lot of 2019 too, because I had 3 surgeries. And then I was back in the club. I missed it so much. I like cried about just how much I missed dancing. I was back in the club for 1 week when everything shut down due to COVID.
No. So
that was really rough. But just like everybody else, I hopped on the OnlyFans train. And then through OnlyFans and networking and meeting other people, a friend ended up connecting me with an agent that I don't work with anymore, but an agent who kind of convinced me to come back into porn. And then that just kind of picked off. And that's what I've been doing since.
Nice. I've only seen a few things of your work, and just by association, like who we shot for.
Yeah.
But what kind of scenes do you generally do?
I do anything. I have very, very, very few limits. I will shoot anything. But until very recently, I had blue in my hair, and so a lot of directors were really hesitant to work with me. So probably what I'm most known for is anal, which is fine. I have a great ass, and I do like anal. It's just that if it were up to me, anal would probably be 20%, 30% of the scenes that I shoot.
Yeah.
And instead it's almost every time if they're calling me, they're calling for anal. I'm like, okay, fine.
Do you think it's easier to do anal or vaginal?
For me, it's easier to do vaginal for sure, but I know that's not true for everybody.
Right.
But I can fit anything in my pussy. I don't need warm up or practice really. If we have lube, I can fit it in my pussy. Mm-hmm. So that's easy. Anal use the whole preparation, and then I worry that I didn't prepare enough, and then when you worry, things get worse. Plus, also when you have anal sex for real, not for the camera, just in your personal life, it doesn't last all that long, and maybe a couple hours, maybe that's it. And so you don't need to do nearly as much cleaning and preparation. And also, when you start anal, usually when you start anal in your personal life, you're going to start with a finger or a small toy, and you kind of work your way up to having a dick in your ass.
Right.
But for porn, when it's time to start you've already done all the paperwork, you've done the photos, you filmed the intro, it's time to start the anal. You're expected to just be ready to have the biggest dick ever in your ass, porn star dick in your ass. So you need to get ready all by yourself in advance, and you need to clean yourself well enough that you're shooting for a full day.
Right.
You're on, so you have to fast from the night before, and then you're on set. Sometimes early in the morning, sometimes there's one director I've worked with a lot. I'm not going to name names, you know who he is, and I love working with him, except that he often has a 12:30 call time. So you're not even in makeup until 12:30. That's so cruel for anal because you can't eat. So if you're in makeup at 12:30, and there's probably another girl in makeup, maybe even 2 other girls in makeup, you're not even stepping onto set. Cameras aren't rolling until 2, maybe. Yeah. And then film intro, whatever else. So 2:33, you start the actual sex, and you're but I haven't eaten. Oh, yeah. I am horny, but I haven't eaten.
Right.
So that part is rough, and that's part of why even though I do really enjoy anal, I would rather anal be a smaller percentage of my shoots.
Right.
But that's okay. People seem to like it when I do anal, so I will keep doing it. Actually, I have anal next week. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I remember I was an extra for a shoot. I'm not gonna say which one, but he wants everyone to, even the extras, to be there at the same time.
Yeah.
And so I'm there. But first things first, they order lunch, and the girl, I don't know if she was doing, she probably was doing, I don't really when I'm not needed, I'm outside or something, and until I'm usually there at the end, but she wasn't eating, and she was got that face oh, and like I'm eating the pizza, or I'm eating like sometimes like they order like Raising Cane's, or I'm just like, I'm sorry, I'm like, don't look, I'm gonna eat this slice, you know.
I shot anal on Thanksgiving, like on Thanksgiving Day. That's cruel. It's cruel. Thanksgiving and I couldn't eat.
Was it like a Thanksgiving anal scene? Like was there turkey?
No, you wouldn't know that it was shot on Thanksgiving, except that I was like tweeting and I was like, hello, it's Thanksgiving, I'm shooting anal for website. But what I still, again, it was a director I've worked with a bunch of times and I had a really nice time, but I was like, food.
Right. As far as like your OnlyFans and stuff, like what scenes do you like to put out for your own stuff?
That's a really good question. I really like girl because like I'm gay for real. And so it's really fun getting to, like, if I'm directing, like it's just a scene for myself, it's really nice to be able to be like, okay, no, let's have like a somewhat or entirely authentic sexual experience, like, and not really, like, you know, we'll make sure we're at the right angle for the camera, but otherwise, like, the things we're doing are the same things that we would be doing if there wasn't a camera, which is very different than shooting girl for a studio. So it's, number one, it's more fun. Getting to do it kind of authentically. But number two, it also just is nice, you know, it's hard. I like a lot of porn, but my girlfriend is even much more gay than I am. And so there's not a lot of porn out there that she likes because she's like, all this lesbian porn was made for men. Like, it was not made for me. And also I think it gives people sort of an unrealistic expectation of like, what does lesbian sex look like? Ooh, lesbian sex. So I do think it's cool to be, like, not that porn is designed to educate, but it is cool to be educating, like, a little bit. Being like, hello, yes, I am a real queer, and I am here to do real queer things. So that's always fun. Similarly, like, I really like shooting bi scenes, be it for a studio or otherwise. When I started in porn, that didn't exist. There was no such thing as bi scenes. There was, like, the vague concept of a crossover star, and crossover stars were evil and bad. Because most of the time, if it was, like, if you were a male performer and you shot one gay porn scene, that's it, you were a gay performer forever, and you're not allowed to shoot straight porn ever again. And there was sort of this, and there still kind of is, this misconception in porn that all women are bisexual and there is no such thing as a bisexual man. And that's obviously not true. Most of my favorite sexual partners have been bisexual men. And that's shitty that porn acts like that. So it's been really cool in the last few years to see a lot more of a shift towards like bi porn being a thing. And so I really like getting to do that, again, for the same reason that like porn is not designed to educate, but we all know it kind of does a little bit. So that's cool to be a part of that change. And also that's what most of my personal life sex looks like anyway, like a bunch of queers being queers. So that's always nice.
I saw this documentary about this topic, and I remember, I forgot his name, but he started doing regular porn, but he wasn't getting that much work, and then he tried gay porn, and he's not gay at all, but he did lose, all he does is primarily gay porn now, but he lost a lot of fans because even the gay fans were judging him because they knew that he was straight. And they're like, "Oh, you're only doing it because it's gay for pay. You know, it's not. You're not real." And like, my first thought on that was like, everyone gets paid to perform on camera. It doesn't matter if it's gay or straight or like, you know, trans or whatever. But like, you don't. It's hard to like, if you're that picky about watching people. If you could tell your favorite star is like into it or not, like I always say, just don't watch it, because like you know, just go to a sex club, you know, or something. But I don't know, like I know a lot of male talents that they're not bisexual, they're not gay, they're straight, but they still do it because they, I don't know, they just like to perform. Absolutely. And that's why I like the job too, is being a performer. And there is something to be said for, like, it's always the worst if I show up to a girl scene, or I'm making my own girl content, and I like meet the girl and we start kissing, or even before that I'm like, oh fuck, she's straight.
And I can tell.
You can tell, right?
And I'm sure a lot of the fans can tell too. And so in that sense, it is hard because a lot of times, like especially if it is a studio shoot, it's like, oh, well, why did you take this job when it could have gone to someone who like really wanted to be here?
Right.
But I also understand the other side of that, which is like the more work you can do, the better. It's just like, if it shows in the scene, like if you're not doing a convincing performance, then maybe those aren't the right types of roles for you. And it's interesting too that you're saying, what you're saying about even the gay fans were mad about the straight performer doing gay porn, because I also know that a lot of straight male performers currently, their biggest fan base is gay guys.
Right.
And even though like they'll still watch the guy fuck a girl, like they don't really care, they kind of just want to see him fuck. Right. And like, yeah, they'd love it if he'd fuck a guy, but as long as they're seeing him fuck, like that's enough for them. Right. So it is interesting, like all the different perspectives that people can have.
Yeah, majority of my fan base are couples.
Oh, cool.
And, but like usually, because we all get those mess DMs and social medias, and I always get DMs from couples, but then it's the husband that's like, oh, how would you fuck my wife, or how would this and that, like, or can I suck your dick, like they squeeze in that question, I'm just like, no, and I'm not mean, so like, I wouldn't like oblige and accommodate their answer, like with an answer, but like I'd be like, look man, like I appreciate you liking my stuff, but I'm straight, I don't do that, and so like so the only ones in my ass is my girlfriend, and that's it, so so I keep it nice and shaved for her, it's just now with this era, there's so many like different lifestyles, and it isn't just he and her, or it's they and all that stuff, and different kinds of I've talked to bisexual, pansexual, all these different types, and everyone likes their own thing, and I think people that appreciate, like for me, like ever since I started doing this, like when I see a porn, I don't look at the sex, I look at the camera angles, I look at the lighting.
I stopped watching porn after I shot my first porn because all I could see was the production value. Right. But actually, since I've been full-time, like since coming back, that has sort of swung back the opposite way, and I've started to appreciate the art of it a little bit more again. And
like the more people I work with, like I've worked with stars that I've never thought I would ever had a chance to perform with, and now that I have, like I will never watch their videos again. Like I can't do it, and I'm just like, oh, because I see them more as a colleague now than I'm a fan. Like it's weird. I don't know how to explain it. Even like sometimes I do like fish around, like I see what searches are there, and like, oh, okay, cool. Then I see a male performer, like, fuck, I've shot with him before. And I'm like, alright, switching it. It is weird when this doesn't happen all that often. I mostly get off to erotica anyway, so like this doesn't happen all that often. But every once in a while it'll happen where I'm like browsing around trying to find something, and I see like a thumbnail, and I'm like, that looks really, I know her, and she is not nice, and I'm like, never mind, that would have been so great, but I can't now. And then also other times, I remember the first time I got like a pop-up ad from just having been on a porn site, and I knew the person in the pop-up ad, and I thought that was really like cool and funny. I was like, oh, I know her, like we've stayed together before. Right. So like the other side of it works too, or like you see your friends and you're like, yeah, that's my friend. That part's cool. Yeah. Especially when one of their videos like just goes viral all of a sudden. Yeah. I was pretty happy. Yeah. Like I remember like this one girl, I don't want to say anything, but I think I know who I'm talking about, is that she got famous for getting busted on webcam at a university library. Ooh. And I used to see that. I used to love watching like things that I think that we're not supposed to watch, or like they could get in trouble kind of thing. And she got busted and she got kicked out of school, but it launched her career. Right. Now she's probably the most popular female performer ever, but then I had a chance to shoot with her, and I did, and then now I'm just like, cool. Neat, like all right, like it was pretty cool, like kind of surreal in the beginning, but afterwards I'm like, it was nice working with you, and like So sucks that you got busted, but yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, there's just so much out there now. It's like I said, there's so much out there, so much to see and do. And with this city of Vegas, it's like people don't know. Not a lot of people know the opportunity to shoot out here because there's so many talent that comes in town. There's so many new websites popping up and companies coming in.
Yeah, my previous agent used to say, so they've had the agency for about 8 years. They said that when they started the agency, probably about 15% of the work they booked was in Vegas and the rest was in LA. And now, or as of last year when I worked with them, it's about 40% in Vegas to 60% in LA.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was I always I love reading articles. I love watching documentaries. I probably watch documentaries way more than porn. And if I could watch a porn documentary, that's even better.
Sure.
Right? But I do watch Johnny Sin's YouTube channel all the time, which he's funny. I got to meet him and stuff. He's just like nice
he is out here, right, in Vegas?
He's back and forth. I think Hawaii and here. And,
yeah. And
anyways, I was looking up. I just saw an article like a couple days ago on Pornhub, and I always like to see like the statistics on like what's being searched and stuff. And I brushed on it a little bit earlier, but the one that what I used to see all the time was hentai, like anything that's like MILF or like steps and all that stuff, and
family stuff is so in right now.
I know, and like. I'm not saying I'm tired of it because I like getting booked as the stepdad, but there is a trend of new things that are coming out.
Yes, I've been fortunate, I guess, thus far to not get booked for a family scene. Probably because of my age. I'm like too old to be a teen, but I'm too young to be a MILF, so I'm like not necessarily a stepdaughter or stepmom. Although I could play either, depending on how you do my makeup.
Right.
I have not yet been booked for a family thing, but I do think, oh my god, what's her name? Well, there's one porn star that everybody says I look like all the time. Lena Paul. Everyone always says I look like Lena Paul.
Yeah, okay.
So I do kind of feel like one of these days, she doesn't shoot a lot anymore for studios. She does once in a while. But I do kind of feel like I have to do a family thing with Lena Paul just because all directors tell me, other talent tells me, fans tell me all the time. Like I've even had people say it in a mean way. Like one guy was mad about something on my OnlyFans. Like he was a paying subscriber and he's like, "Be gone, bootleg Lena Paul."
Oh my god.
I'm like, is that supposed to be bad? Like what? I'm not upset to hear that I look like Lena Paul. She's beautiful. Like,
right.
What? So I just hear it so much that even though I'm not into the family thing, I'm like, well, you guys, you're sleeping on an obvious opportunity to not book me and Lena Paul as some sort of family thing.
Right. Like a good sister, bad sister.
Ooh, yeah.
Kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that would be the top person that's on your list to shoot with that you would like to do?
Oh, no, that's a really good question.
Because everyone has a bucket list, or that one.
No, I don't really anymore. I will say something that's cool. When I was younger, when I first started in porn, I really liked Owen Gray. Because what girl doesn't like Owen Gray? Especially in 2015, what girl didn't like Owen Gray?
Right.
And I was shooting for a company called Intersex. They were the world's first fetish porn site. It's kind of what inspired kink.com, but it's a lot more hardcore. It's literally torture porn. There's more violence than there is sex in those scenes. And they don't usually do boy-girl, but for this one specific scene they were gonna. And so they're like, is there anyone that you like that you want us to book as the male talent? And I was like, well, I don't really know a lot of male porn stars. I really like Owen Gray, so if you could get someone kind of like that. And what I really meant was someone vaguely alternative. And they're like, okay, yeah, done. We booked Owen Gray. I'm like, Owen Gray. So I got to shoot with Owen Gray, which was very cool and fun, especially at 19. But I will say, he always says online that he's really quiet and kind of shy and awkward, and I didn't really believe him. Oh yeah, he really is quiet and shy and awkward. He just kind of ate lunch quietly to himself. And I'm over here that's really Owen Gray sitting here at the table. Oh my god. So I'm trying to be cool, quietly eating my own lunch separately.
Right. You're trying to mimic his moves. Like you were studying so hard where he was like this and you were like
not quite, but inside.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was a cool experience. So, I guess I kind of feel like I already did get to check off my porn bucket list because I was a big fan of Owen Gray before I was even in the industry.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know that there's one person that I'm like, oh man, I really wish I could work with them. Although I love Nikki Sweet. She's a really good friend of mine. And we've worked together for like our own content, but we've never been booked together. And so I do think it would be cool to get like officially booked with her. That would be
cool.
Fun.
And you guys already have like the chemistry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, do we. I make her come like nobody else.
Nice. What's the easiest way, in your experience, as a female, what's the easiest way to make another female come?
There's no one answer. It's different for every person.
Okay.
I will say my finger game is really strong, but honestly, my strap game is also really strong, and I'm really good at eating girls out. So, I don't know, it kind of happens no matter what. But the real answer is you have to figure out what works for her individually, because everybody's going to be completely different.
Right. And are you more of a dominant type or submissive? Or you switch?
I'm a switch. I'm a switch, but I am with women typically a top, which does not necessarily mean dominant. But it often does because
you have a strap-on.
Oh, I have so many strap-ons.
Yeah.
I'm like a strap queen. My main dick is pierced like me, because I am also pierced. And so that usually gets people pretty excited. But I have a whole collection. Like my girlfriend and I, we have 2 different ejaculating strap-ons.
Oh shit.
Yeah, mine is pierced. We have one that's called the blowjob dildo that's hollow and like the urethra is open. So when you suck on it, there's actual suction. So there's like physical sensation for the wearer as well.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that one is very fun. I know how to use a double-ended dildo as a strap-on. Like it doesn't have to be one of those ones like a dildo that's made to be used that way. It could be. Actually, I did this in a scene just the other day that's not out yet. Just like a regular straight double dildo. Know how to use it like a strap-on, even without a harness, but it's better if you have a harness. I like my harnesses. I have, I don't know, probably 24 different strap-on options, and I do often, like if my girlfriend and I are going somewhere and we think we like might have sex, so like maybe we met someone, we're gonna go to their house, or we're going to a sex club or something, I pretty much always bring my strap-on with me, to the point where I told you the first time we ever went was in New Orleans, and we were the only queers there. We've always been the only queers there. And so there was the one other young-ish couple went on the tour with us right when we got there in the beginning, and they were very shy and nervous. They were very like, we're straight and vanilla, but we're like trying to spice up our relationship, but we like don't know how, and we're scared.
Yeah.
And I, like, not only am I a big slut all the time, like for work and for realsies, but in college, and I was still in college at the time, or had just wrapped up, I was the director of Northwestern Sex Week, which is like a week of programming every year about like sexual health and wellness and safe sex and making sex more fun and all that kind of stuff. I was the director of the Northwestern Burlesque Show. And I was the president of the Kink Education Club at Northwestern. So I'm like really into sex education, both literally like, how does sex work? How do we do sex safely? But also, how do we make sex better and more fun? And I'm a big queer. So we're like talking to this other couple in like a couch area at the sex club. Like you could fuck there, but it's not one of the main like fuck zones.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh yeah, and like this is how you negotiate kink and like find out what your partner will or like might or might not want to do. And we talked about like want, won't list, and they're like asking questions about my strap-on, and I'm like showing them, but it's not like a sexy demo. It's like I'm just explaining like literally how this works. And as I'm talking, I noticed that like a bunch more older couples are like coming over like just to listen. And so I basically ended up giving like a lecture and a demo to this big crowd about like queers and kink and like navigating sexuality, which was very cool and fun. I love teaching. So that was all really great. And then I did later on get to give a more impassioned demo. So that was fun too. But that is an experience that like I will really treasure. Me, the youngest person in the room, and one of the only queers teaching all of these like old straight couples like, nah, here's how you fuck better. Here's how gays work. Here's how you fuck better.
Right. Oh, damn, that's amazing. It
was fun.
Have you... Well, was the guy, because usually what I've seen here at this club, especially in the dungeon room, where a girl will walk in with a strap on and she's like, she has her slave or whatever, and then like, and she's pegging him and she's doing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
But the couples are the single men that come in here, they go in, they U-turn out. They don't want any part of it.
Right.
But the couples are the ones that like watch, and then. Now in the beginning when they started coming here, like you'll see the wives more interested, and then the husbands are like, I can't watch this. Like, oh my god, I can't believe he's taking that dick and whatever.
Right.
But then now I'm starting to see like the wife's like, like I could do this to you if you want me to, and you can see the husband's like, like thinking about it.
Yeah, well, I think, like, obviously perceptions of masculinity in our culture are super weird, and homophobia is rampant even to this day. Like, even the fact that, like, bi male porn stars didn't exist is a holdover from the AIDS crisis, and this idea that, like, oh, now they're, like, tainted and bad because they had gay sex, which is, like, ridiculous. The gay porn stars test on the same schedule at the same locations. Yeah. It's the exact same thing. Like, and also anyone can get or spread HIV.
Right.
You don't have to be a gay man to have that happen. And there's no, like, being a gay man and engaging in anal sex is not inherently more risky than being a straight couple that engages in anal sex. Like, it's just that they have more anal. So that's all ridiculous and stupid. But I think that for a long time, and a lot of people still feel this way, this idea of, like, being penetrated in the ass makes you gay, even if it's a woman doing it. To the point where I once had a guy on OnlyFans, I sent out a mass message, and I asked everyone, I was like, would you rather fuck me or get fucked by me? Actually, this wasn't even fucking. It was, would you rather spank me or get spanked by me? Oh, and this one guy responded, spank you because I'm not gay.
Oh my God.
It's gay to get touched by a woman? Like, what? People are so crazy. So they're like, yeah, even if it's a woman fucking me in the ass, that would mean that I'm gay, and I'm not gay.
Right.
But I think pegging has become kind of a meme, and just like more widespread throughout pop culture, and that has somewhat destigmatized it and opened up a lot more people's minds to it. And I think that's why you're starting to see a lot more men who are like, okay, yeah, maybe, because they don't have that same like, no, I'm not gay, so I'm not gonna do it type of reaction. It's like, okay, they're hearing more about like, no, this is a thing that like guys who aren't gay do, and it's okay. Right. Also, like, to be gay isn't seen as problematic as it used to be. Like, there still is rampant homophobia in society, but it isn't at quite the same level that it used to be.
Right, exactly. And it is improving. I think what you're doing, what you did as far as educating and stuff, like, we definitely need more of that. Sure. And that's why we're here also, because we want to hear these stories.
Totally.
Like, it's pretty awesome. And I have a lot of stories here that I've experienced, and one that I could probably share is a lot of, because this happened more than once, where I would have sex with a wife and the husband will just cuck and just watch, but near the end he'll like whisper to me and be like, hey, like, when you're about ready to come, pull out, take the condom out, and then come on her face. I'm like, okay, whatever, so I did that, but I did not know that the husband was going to be by her face. So now I'm like coming at both of them in their face, and I'm just like, and in my mind I'm like, huh, like that's all I can say. It's like, interesting, like all right, I guess this is happening. And then, but that happened. I remember the first time that happened, and then it happened again and again and again. Like almost all, like now it's like almost all the time now, and I'm just like, that's so crazy interesting, and like this just opens another thing of knowledge, like I didn't know that exists.
Yeah. Well, when you're talking about like cucks specifically, the whole deal with cucks is it's not just about watching. Like, part of the reason I don't consider myself a cuck, even though I love to watch someone else fuck my partner, is cucking has a very specific connotation that involves like emasculinization in some way, or emasculation in some way. So it's not just like, my wife is getting fucked. It's like, oh no, someone else is taking my place and fucking my wife, which like shouldn't happen, and it means I'm less than him. Like, this stud is coming in and fucking my wife better than I could, or I'm not allowed, all I can do is jerk off in the corner because I'm sad and powerless and blah blah blah. So it adds, like, even if they're straight, it adds more to that fantasy of like, oh, and then I got marked with his cum too. Like, I didn't get to fuck. He got to fuck my wife, and then like I am so beneath them that like he came on me, and so it like continues that power fantasy.
Yeah, that's crazy. Mm-hmm. Is there anything that you haven't done or experienced or even seen that you want to?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I haven't done a bi 4-way where it's like 2 guys and 2 girls and everybody's bisexual. Okay. That I would really like to do both in my personal life or as a scene. I think that'd be a great scene, and you don't really see that. Right. And my experience with DP has been pretty limited, which is something I always wanted to do. And then I finally did have it happen with a close friend and my girlfriend, but we were all kind of fucked up, like having a fun night, and so whiskey dick got in the way. Oh, no. And so like it was really fun, but it didn't last all that long. And then I got to do a scene with DP, but I'm not going to go into too many details, but there were also complications with multiple of the performers. Another guy was supposed to be in the scene, and then like he was on set but couldn't perform because his test results were delayed, and another guy was having some kind of challenges, and it was just like the whole scene kind of got messed up and like didn't go the way it was supposed to. Yeah. So like I have been DP'd, but I haven't really had that experience of like, oh yeah, like I'm getting DP'd and everything is just like going smoothly and there's like no problems and I got DP'd. So I would still really like to get to do that sometime.
Yeah. It's like you get your feet in the water, but you weren't able to like dive in.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. And I've done a few DPs, a lot of DPs, and like, but they're all different for me. Like I have set guys that I like to work with because of the way, I don't know.
Yeah, the way you guys fit together.
Yeah, it fits, like it works out. And then I did my first double vaginal. Mm-hmm. I've only done like 2 or 3 of those, and like it was hard. I mean, it was hard, but like it wasn't.
It is challenging. And like, when Asiani started his new site, 2 Poles, 1 Hole, I was the first shoot for that. He called my agent and specifically was like, I want Electra as the first one, which was very flattering and exciting to me. And I had 2 wonderful performers doing it. But it was awkward, like not emotionally awkward. I had worked with both of the guys before, and we like kept it light and fun. But like it's really physically challenging, just getting those angles right to make it all work. So then when you're doing a whole scene, where the point of the whole entire scene is it's double vag, like okay, well we have to find enough different positions and angles where it works for the double vag, and we're keeping it interesting when you're you need like an hour of content. Right. Like it's challenging for sure.
Yeah. And I remember I did, like, I had a scissor the guy. And so we were scissoring.
Yeah, that's funny.
And so our units were aligned like this and up, and then the girl was just squatting down.
That's cool.
And that actually was the easiest.
Yeah.
And like, but, like, we're scissoring and we're like, I don't have problems touching penises or whatever,
right?
And like, so we're in that position for at least 45 seconds because like the girl was like, oh yeah, let me lube it up, and then like, oh okay, and then we're just like look man, I told him, I said, look, it took me like a whole minute to get in this position like the correct way. Like I am not moving,
right?
So like
you are committed.
We're committed. Let's just talk about baseball or something. Like I don't care. So we just made it happen. It was actually a really awesome scene.
Nice.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. But like I would love to do more of those, and like, and I know that like the fans I have, like they love that shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So but back into like these new topics, like these new search engine words.
Yeah.
Like there's you think that there's more, like if you search MILF, like there's nothing above that unless you're searching for grandmother or something like that, but with penetration,
I think mature is what it's called.
Mature. That's right. And but with penetrations topics and keywords, like there's so many things you could do, like you said, the 4-way bisexual porn.
Yeah.
And like there's all kinds of penetration happening.
Right.
And I mean, it's amazing. So I don't know. I mean, the sky's the limit. Like I was mentioning, like one of them was like Mormon was the search word, but I did see face sitting. I did see double penetration. I just see like Latin guys or Latin women, like in Texas or whatever. And but watch it. But I think by next year you're gonna start seeing more like DP, bisexual porn. Like I'm kind of hoping for it. I mean, it's not really my cup of tea, but like I've been in like some tranny scenes and stuff. I don't view it as anything else but like a cool person and like boobs and a penis. Like I'm like, all right, I guess so. Like,
sure,
and they're really awesome. So, but hopefully things open up more here, especially in this town. Like my goal with this and like with the club and like doing porn, like I didn't even mean to do porn. I met Laura Jensen and she was like, you gotta do porn, and I'm like, all right. And I just want Vegas to be like the most liberal destination for anybody, and like they could go to a place like this or next door, wherever, and just like no judgment, just be you and enjoy watching, enjoy participating, enjoy anything. So I'm like really happy that we got to have this conversation and stuff.
Me too.
Yeah, it's definitely new and hopefully like people will really appreciate this and appreciate you and see and watches you more and see you grow and stuff. So like I'm happy that you came here.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
But before we sign off, want to give your social media?
Oh yeah, sure. My Twitter is at Electra Rayne. It's Electra with a C. ELECTRA RAYNE. My brand new Instagram, because I've been banned for years, but now that I moved across the country and got a new phone, I got to make a new one, is Electra from Chicago. And my website where you can find all my links and everything about me is chicagoslut.com, because it's easy to remember and it's easy to spell.
Awesome. And be sure to log on to our website and our social media also, and we'll have some photos and some cool, like maybe little behind the scene moments or whatever. So I hope you guys do enjoy this podcast again, and I want to thank you guys for checking out our conversation, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you next time.
Bye.